In this video, I'm going to talk about how to save money by understanding your body using the R.I.C.H method. You're probably wondering, why would I be interested to learn about my body? Well, when you have digestive issues, you can either buy expensive products that will promise that your issues will go away and try every possible diet just to find out that nothing is working for you. Or you learn how your body works and understand what it needs, so you save all this money and cure yourself with 4 simple steps. So here you see an overview of the digestive system. The digestion goes from top to bottom, from mouth to butt. You must realize that, because when the digestion is disrupted and you want to repair that, you will have to work from mouth to butt. So the first thing you need to do is to look where it is disrupted. Where did the disruption start? Did it start at the mouth, maybe the stomach, the pancreas? Is something wrong with the intestinal flora? If someone has a shortage of gastric acid in their stomach and a disturbed intestinal flora, you can start taking probiotics to try to get the intestinal flora back in order. But if you do not make enough gastric acid, your food is not digested properly. In this case, problems already start in the stomach. Therefore, there is little chance that the probiotics will work in the long term. So it is important to work on the stomach first. You know the situation when you walk past a restaurant with the most amazing scents coming out of the kitchen? You inhale the smell deeply and feel the water running in your mouth. Well, this is where the digestion already starts. By smelling and seeing the food, your body receives a sign from your brain to make all the digestive enzymes needed to process the food that is coming. This is a good reason to cook yourself, because by smelling, seeing, tasting the food, your body will be prepared for the food that is coming. There is, however, an important catch to this, and that is hunger. You need to be hungry too. If you're not hungry, your body is not in a digestive state. It is not ready to digest your food, and the digestive enzymes from seeing and smelling the food are not produced. If you do eat, then your digestion will become very difficult. When you are in a digestive state and have prepared a nice dish for yourself, you take your first bite. Chewing your food has 6 important functions. 1. Digestion of carbs. In the saliva in your mouth are enzymes that digest the carbohydrates in your food. The second, a sign for gastric acid. By tasting the food and the movement of chewing, your stomach receives a sign to make gastric acid, which is massively important for the rest of your digestion. The third is a food check. The lining of your mouth, and especially the area under your tongue, can absorb nutrients super fast. It absorbs nutrients to check them. By doing so, your body knows which foods and nutrients are coming and can produce the correct digestive substances to optimally digest these foods. It also checks whether the food is safe, and if it contains any fungus or parasites. It will alarm your immune system to be on edge. The fourth is grinding. By chewing, you grind your food into tiny pieces. If you swallow pieces that are too big, the digestive enzymes and intestinal flora can only read the outer edges of your food, which makes it much less effective and can cause problems. So try to chew about 30 times per bite. The fifth, prevent loose teeth. You know that exercise is good for you and putting pressure on your bones will keep them strong. Well, this works the same for your teeth. Pressure on your teeth keeps enough bone material coming in, which help prevent loose teeth and cavities. 6. The full signal. Lastly, by not shoving your food down your throat and flushing it away with water, but chewing many times at a lower pace, you give your body the time to pass on the signal of being full and not overeating. So now you know why we have to chew our food so well. When you have completed this process, we can move on to the next level. We swallow our food and it goes via the esophagus into the stomach. In the stomach, food is kneaded and mixed with gastric juices and pre-digested. Gastric juice is made up of digestive enzymes, hydrochloric acid, and other substances that are important for absorbing nutrients. The hydrochloric acid in the gastric juice breaks down the food and the digestive enzymes split up the proteins. The acidic gastric juice also kills harmful bacteria. A thick layer of mucus covers the stomach wall with a protective coating. Together with the bicarbonate, this ensures that the stomach wall itself is not damaged by the hydrochloric acid. The food remains in the stomach for an average of 3 hours. With fatty food, the stomach needs more time. The stomach passes small bits of food to the small intestine via a sphincter. If there is a stomach acid deficiency, this can take longer, and the food will remain in the stomach longer. As a result, it can ferment, causing belching and gas, and feel as if there is a pit in your stomach. This can cause the valve to your esophagus to open a little and stomach acid to flow back from your stomach into the esophagus, which is reflux. You can imagine that when not having enough gastric acid, not all pathogenic bacteria can be killed either. People can also have too much gastric acid, which can also cause reflux. It is important to find out if one of those is the case. When all goes well and the food pulp is acidic enough, it passes into the small intestine. Here the main part of the digestion takes place. Digestive juices from the pancreas and the gallbladder are added to the food pulp. A juice made by the liver, called bile, helps to absorb fats into the bloodstream and is only needed when food contains fat particles. The gallbladder serves as a warehouse for bile, storing it until the body needs it. We now learned that bile made by the liver helps digest fats, gastric acid in your stomach helps to digest protein, and the saliva in your mouth helps digest carbohydrates. When this pre-digestion is done, it is time for the enzymes from the pancreas to start digesting and breaking down these nutrients even further. The nutrients enter the blood through the intestinal wall. The wall of the small intestine is folded and has finger-like microscopic projections called villi. The villi absorb the nutrients from the food you eat and then shuttle those nutrients into your bloodstream so they can travel where they're needed. If you would flatten the surface area of the small intestine, it would be about the size of a tennis court. There is therefore plenty of room for nutrients to be absorbed into the blood. There are almost no bacteria in the small intestine. The food passes quickly through the small intestine, if all goes well. So the bacteria don't get the chance to stay there either. The large intestine is inhabited by a community of microorganisms, such as bacteria, fungi, and viruses, called the intestinal flora, gut flora, or microbiome. The intestinal flora has many important tasks, among which is making acids. It does this by converting carbohydrates and fiber into acids. These acids are really important for the intestinal environment. It must be sufficiently acidic for digestive enzymes to work well, to be able to extract the remaining nutrients from the food pulp. The flora also needs the acidic environment to feel at home. The acids also stimulate the intestinal wall and squeeze and start the intestinal movements so the food pulp goes through the intestine and finally comes out as poop. The acids also play an important role in defending the intestine against pathogens, so they do not get the chance to establish and become a big colony. Your gut can also be too acidic, because of eating a lot of sugar, for example. In this case, a lot of carbohydrates will be converted into acids. If your gut is too acidic, the digestive enzymes don't work properly, and you will have thin stool faster. If it is not acidic enough, pathogens are given a chance and you will be more likely to suffer from constipation. The large intestine is about 1 meter long and looks like an inverted U. When the food first enters the large intestine, it is still a water-thin pulp. When the moisture and salts are removed from the pulp, the poo gets thick and ends up in the rectum, which is the last part of the column. This is where the poo is temporarily stored. When the rectum is full, a signal is sent to the brain. You then get the feeling that you have to defecate. So now you know how your digestion works. But what can you do to help it? Well, for this we use the R.I.C.H method. The first is the R from relax. Are you in a rest and digest state or still in the fight and flight mode from all the overflow of emails and your children running around while you try to focus? Check with yourself. If you are still in a stressed state, your body is not ready for digestion. It is an evolutionary mechanism. When a saber-toothed tiger is coming for you, you're not going to focus on digesting your food. No, you have to run away or fight. The energy goes away from your digestive organs and to your muscles to make you ready to fight or flight. So, how do you come in a relaxed state before eating? One way is breathing. Just focus on breathing slowly in and out until you feel more relaxed. When you are religious, praying before eating is also a good way to slow down and become in a more relaxed state. The second is the I from intermittent. Eat intermittently, with time between your meals. Practically, this means no snacking and preferably 2 to 3 meals per day. This gives your body the time it needs to digest the food and prepare for the next meal. The third step is the C from chewing. Remember to chew your food well, about 30 times average. No, you don't have to count, but check with your tongue how big the pieces actually are when you want to swallow it. Still big? Keep on chewing. This gives your body the time to feel when you are full and not overeat when you are having one of your 3 daily meals. Focus on what you eat and stare out the window, listen to music or eat with your family. Do not eat in front of the TV because this way you overeat quickly and don't chew as well as you're not focusing on your food anymore. Other tips are eating with the back of your fork, using a pastry fork or chopsticks. The last one is the H from hunger. We're so used to eating on specific times that we do not listen to our body anymore. When you are hungry, your body is in a digestive state and makes the enzymes and digestive juices needed to digest your food. So when you are about to eat, check with yourself, am I actually hungry? If not, wait until you become hungry and then eat. Which can even mean skipping your breakfast altogether. Some tips. The first thing you put in your mouth must be something healthy. Don't start eating when you're already starving. When you feel it's time to eat, to prevent you from shoving everything down your throat. Side note, some people are just never hungry. If you're one of them, don't just stop eating. To recap, use the R.I.C.H method to support your digestion. The first one is the R from relax. To become in a more relaxed state, breathe before eating or pray if you are religious. The second is the I from intermittent. Eat intermittently, with 2 to 3 meals a day and no snacks. The third is the C from chew. Chew well about 30 times per bite and don't eat in front of the TV. The last is the H from hunger. Only eat when you are hungry. So now you understand how your digestive system works and how to use the R.I.C.H method to save money and get rich.